Hi, I'm Paul Olson with Ken Olson Well Drilling, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Today we're going to adjust a pressure switch. Try to keep it fairly simple. So first thing you want to do is take the switch cover off and check your power, make sure your power's off, because we're going to have to bleed the tank down to check the air in it. I like to check each leg just to make sure they don't have a couple different breakers. Power's on, so I'm going to have Bill shut the power off.
Power's off.
Power is off. I'm going to shut the valve off to the house. We're going to bleed the pressure off of the pressure tank. Alright, and we're running a 40-60 pressure switch, so we're going to check the tank, make sure it has 38 pounds of air in it. You always want 2 pounds below the cut-in pressure, so if you're running a 30-50, you want 28 psi. We're running 40-60, so we want 38 psi. Looks good. Put that back on. Now when I'm adjusting a pressure switch for the first time, I usually dial it back a couple turns. That way, so I dial it back. So I know it's going to start out under 40 psi. And then what I do is have the power turn back on.
Power on.
We're going to let that build up and shut off. I'm not really too concerned where it shuts off the first time. I just want it to shut off because then we'll show you how to adjust it on the bottom side. So there it shut off about 50. So now what I'm going to do, if I want to run a 40-60 switch, I'm going to turn the water back on. I'm going to get it right to where I want it to turn back on, which is 40 psi. I'm going to dial the switch up until it turns on at that 40 psi. And then we'll put it on the small nut, which is just the top side adjustment, and we'll get it to shut off at 60 psi. Right about there. So the tall nut is your cut in and cut out pressure switch. So if you start at 40-60 and you wanted to go to 42-62, it's 1 revolution. Clockwise is 2 pounds. If you turned it 2 revolutions, it would be 44-64. The small, shorter nut is the cutouts pressure only, and that's 3 pounds per revolution. So for some reason, if you wanted to go 40-65, you would just dial that 1 more turn clockwise. But again, if you're going to increase your pressure switch pressure, or if you're going to increase it from 42 to, say you wanted to run 50-70, you need to increase the air in this pressure tank to 48 psi. But again, the only way to check the captive air in the pressure tank is to shut the power off, shut the valve off to the house, drain the tank down, and then you can check your captive air. Now I'll run another cycle through it and make sure that everything's turning on and turning off in the right. tweak that top side just a little bit.
Well, shut off at 60, so we should be good.
Either